another Saturday, which means another episode from My Hero Academia, and I think this is episode 23 of the season. So that means if they continue off of the format that they have been doing with the seasons thus far, it's around, I think, 24 episodes per season, since season 2, I believe, that they have a specific amount of episodes, and then they cut off for the end of the season until they come back until, like, this fall or maybe even this winter, which is most likely going to happen because that's what they've been doing every single time because it's a seasonal anime. I kind of wish it would go on for a little bit longer before they decided to wrap up the season, but whatever, it's not my call to make. But ultimately, I was waiting for something to happen after the Lady Nagant fight, and I guess this is the episode where, like, the true Vigilante Deku finally makes his first appearance. And obviously I already saw like a few images of what Deku looked like in the manga, and he looked crazy, but now he's fully animated and now he just looks even more crazy. And now I'm like fully admiring like the way that Horikoshi decided to make Vigilante Deku look, right? Because we actually get some lines of dialogue from some of the regular like civilians as well. It's like everyone knows who All For One is now. Everyone knows who the Nomus are. They're known for being these super powerful enemies and villains that have multiple quirks. All of a sudden, Deku shows up out of nowhere, and he has multiple quirks, but he's saving people. But then you look at you see what he looks like, and he doesn't even look like a hero. He kind of looks like a villain, which I think is really cool, and I think it really contrasts with what his motivation is, and then you look at what he looks like, and it perfectly contrasts with itself because he's trying to go back to normalcy. He's trying to do everything in his path to be able to stop All For One and Shigaraki, so that way the world could go back to what it once was. Society can go back to what it used to be, and he can go back to smiling with the people that he cares about in his life. Everybody, his mom, his friends at the school, his teachers, his mentors, the other heroes can potentially come back and start being heroes again. That's what he wants. That's what he's trying to strive for. But his what do I say to this? His determination, right, to keep moving forward and not stopping until he finally reaches his goal is quite literally destroying him from the inside out. He's now fully capable of being able to utilize One For All so much that the second hired gun that shows up, he just takes the dude out immediately. No difficulty, like nothing happens. We don't even get to see the fight in comparison to Lady Nagant, where he actually struggled a little bit, but then the second guy comes in and he just handles him immediately. It's insane. And I just like the duality of this. Deku is, going off on his own, because now he's able to do what he's always been trying to do, which is to save people. But now he has another goal in mind besides just saving people with a smile. He's trying to bring back those smiles because the whole entirety of Japan is basically just imploding upon itself and it's destroying itself. And he's trying to bring back those smiles. He's trying to do everything he can in order to make the world great again. But he's doing it so much to the point where he doesn't have time to rest. He doesn't have time to eat. He doesn't have time to sleep. He's destroying himself, and you can see that visually with the way that he looks, especially in the episode where he just looks absolutely insane. And I think what also helps that as well is that All Might was everything to him. All Might was the true antithesis of what a hero was supposed to be. And now he doesn't even look at All Might anymore. He doesn't look back at him anymore. He just accepts that All Might is trying to help, but he just doesn't look at him the same anymore because now he's too fixated and too focused on trying to save Japan and stop these maniacal villains from trying to basically take over the place and kill everybody and destroy the world, basically. And I just really like that contrast from like Deku's goals, but then in comparison to what he looks like. And how people perceive him as, because he's supposed to be a hero, he is saving people, but they're scared of him because he looks fucking crazy. Like he just doesn't look the same. He doesn't look like a hero. He doesn't look like someone who would actually go around and actually save people. And I just think that perfectly contrasts with his character and his motivations. And then I also like how in the beginning of the episode they actually explain why Endeavor and Hawks and Best Jeanist don't like tell other heroes like what's one for all. And it's because they don't want information to leak out, right? They don't want information to leak out. It gets to the news reporters and the public, and then people start realizing they start sending their hate towards someone else, right? It starts specifically towards Deku, because the whole point of Shigaraki and All for One's like thing going on right now is like they're trying to get All for One, or One for All, sorry, and they're gonna use that power to take over the world and cause mayhem and destruction and chaos and just do everything humanly possible that's evil, right? And they know what One for All is, and they're gonna know what the public's gonna know what the motivation of the villains are, and they're gonna send their hate not towards Endeavor like they have been this entire time. They're gonna send it towards Deku, and they're gonna wonder why he hasn't been doing anything, why the heroes haven't been doing anything. And then they're gonna the Hero Society and the heroes and all that, they're gonna have to take him away, right? They're gonna have to put him into protection, but they can't do that because not only does Deku not want to do that, but they need Deku, because if he's not, out and about moving around and trying to look for the villains himself, they're not going to be able to get any information either, right? It's basically just going to be an entire cat and mouse chase where basically nothing is going on. So they need him. They need Deku in order to be able to find the villains, but the villains can't have the public also know that this is going, that they know what One for All is. So it's weird. It's this weird thing. They explain it, but I like how they explained it. I'm not really explaining it too well, to be honest. I just like the way that they explained it in the episode. It made a lot of sense. It's just kind of nutty. And then at the very end of the episode, we actually get to see the second half. Actually, the whole basic second half of the episode is basically Class A is trying to help their friend. Deku's trying to do everything by himself. He says that everything is just fine and he can do it, but they can't accept him doing it on his own, because they know that if he continues to keep trying to do this on his own, he's not going to survive for very much longer, and he's going to potentially end up dying. And judging from the way that he looks, yeah, he's going to need a lot of help. So his friends are trying to do everything that they can in order to find him. They finally end up finding him, and now they're trying to save him, essentially. They're trying to save him from himself, basically. And they're going to do everything that they can in order to be able to bring Deku back, right? And, make him come to his senses and realize that he doesn't need to do everything by himself. He doesn't need to do everything alone, and he can rely on the assistance of other people. He doesn't have to do it all by himself anymore, because just because he has this incredible power doesn't mean that he's just fully capable of doing everything by himself. He doesn't need to be the next All Might, but he does need to be a great hero. In order to be able to be a great hero, you have to also ask the help of others to lend a hand when they want to give it. So the next episode is basically just going to be Class A trying to save their friend, and they're going to do it however way they can, even if it means that they have to actually end up finding him. So the next episode is actually titled Deku versus Class A, which will be interesting, because they're all going to have something to say to him. Which I really like, because I think I've said this a couple of times before in the past. Most of the side characters in Class A don't really do a whole lot, and they're not, developed in any specific way, and they kind of really need that time to grow and change and develop. And I think having this chance for them to speak their mind to Midoriya, who is the main character, who is the main focus of the story, I think will actually end up helping a lot of the other side characters, the main side characters, supporting cast, which is Class A. So, we'll see what ends up happening. This episode is basically just to set up more of what's supposed to happen next week's episode. And then, like I said, I think next week's episode is going to be the finale of the season. And then we're going to have to wait. So, what will I do after that? I think I might read a little bit forward in the manga and, get an idea of what's supposed to happen in the next season when that comes out, which will probably happen maybe in November or December, depending on when they want to do it. But then again, they might actually not be able to do it until probably next spring, which will kind of suck. But, I guess it is what it is. Just as long as we get more, because I do want to see more. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. I don't really have much else to add on top of the video and the episode review. I really liked it, right? I think Deku looks insane, but the way that his character is designed now in comparison to his goals currently, I think are perfectly contrasted with one another. The psychological games that all for One is trying to play with Midoriya, I think is also very interesting as well. Because it's pretty much all he has to do currently right now is to try to get under his skin and try to get into his mind to, bring him down and wear him down until they finally have a chance to be able to get him, which is cool. Nothing like this has really happened yet for any of the characters and any of the villains, which I like. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Really liked it, and I'm wondering what's going to end up happening in the next episode. So, yeah, I guess we'll wait until next week. If you liked the video, though, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more, please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.